Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston, and wherever you are moved to again, Brian.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery now? Oh, okay.
Mystery.
Okay, well, it's no longer Ferndale, Washington's, because you're not in Ferndale anymore.
Nope.
But anyways, it's Boston and unknown locations only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, and all their kaiju friends, and Ultraman. I forgot to put Ultraman in there, but it's okay. We're not stopping. We're not doing it again. We're just going to keep rolling with it. This is our super cool and spooky Halloween special that we hope to keep doing for years to come, because Halloween kicks ass.
It does kick ass, regardless of what Melrose school officials think.
Oh yeah. I'll briefly talk about that. My hometown.
We'll do it in the news section.
It's not really anything kaiju related though.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
but our local schools, they decided, hey, we're not gonna celebrate Halloween anymore. You can still have Halloween stuff, but we're not going to celebrate it. And I'm like, wow, that's stupid. You should just let kids be spooky if they want to.
Yeah, we're not gonna cancel Halloween in general. We're just gonna cancel it for the majority of their day that we make them attend.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
and also remove any amount of fun that you get from celebrating Halloween with friends that you don't live.
Yeah, exactly. To. It's stupid.
It's really dumb.
But we're not doing that today. We're celebrating Halloween. We're going to be covering the first film in the Yokai Monsters trilogy, which is 100 Monsters, directed by, let me get the director up here, Kimiyoshi Yasuda, who is the director of Daimajin as well.
Some of my favorite movies. I love those movies.
So yeah, we're gonna be talking about 100 Monsters. I think we got some interesting insights to it. We'll get there when we get there. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We got
slow down.
Yeah, I'm getting way too ahead.
We'll get there. I made a structure for this podcast for a reason.
You did, and we do have some news. So Brian, do you want me to take this first one, or do you want to go first?
I will take this one because I actually have some related topics that I wanted to bring up with this one.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So, get absolutely fucked Elevated Games. As an update to our news story last week about Ultraman Kaiju Combat being a front to sell NFTs, Subaraya Productions has actually released a statement denouncing the developer and condemning the game as an unauthorized product. Yeesh. This notice is to inform you that unauthorized product and service of Ultraman-related NFTs have been distributed online. Due to repeated contract violations, Subaraya Productions would like to inform you that all NFT-related projects made by Elevated Games, Inc. under the Ultraman license are not supported officially and should not be considered licensed products. They ignored our repeated warnings that they should receive our prior approval in using our Ultraman properties on their services. The services include the Ultraman Kaiju Combat game and any NFT projects currently or previously available or available in the future. Since we are not liable for such unauthorized NFT products, we urge everyone not to access these products or make payments or submit your personal information to Elevated Games or their affiliates. Thank you, Subaraya Productions. Holy shit, get wrecked.
Eat shit, Elevated. My God.
So, for one, I'm just going to put this out there. And I know that I might not be making any friends, but NFTs are so stupid.
They are. They're one, stupid, two, a scam, and B, three, bad for the environment.
This is a bubble that's going to burst.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to realize how dumb and how much of a waste of money it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
most
everyone's
of them also look terrible, too.
Yeah, they look terrible, and it's the laziest form of, big air quotes, art.
Yeah,
it's so lazy. But yeah, get fucked. elevated games.
You know what the best part is? Like, the developers are having a fucking meltdown over this now too. Like, their Twitter account,
their Discord.
Yeah, well, not even in their Discord. Like, their Twitter account has been like just retweeting like a bunch of like blatant NFT stuff and like just all the other random stuff that like they're clearly like scrambling to try and salvage this somehow. And I remember seeing a screenshot from their Discord saying like in response to this, to the statement that Tsuburaya gave, they were like, oh yeah, we're not really sure what's happening there, but like, dude, are you really gonna argue with Tsuburaya Productions? They're the ones who own Ultraman. You're really gonna try to argue this? It seems pretty cut and dry from their statement as to what they want.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's just a bit like it's just a huge, it's a huge stupid bubble. It's gonna pop, just like like.
And
I was gonna say crypto, but crypto is kind of still going.
I mean, it's kind of like in the same bubble as crypto.
But here's the thing: at least crypto is like, I can understand it.
Yeah,
and like it could serve a function if like everybody went all in on it and made it like a new universal currency or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I could get it, and that's what it was originally made for. Like, you know, all the stupid, like...
But most of NFTs are just, like, shitty MS Paint pictures of monkeys.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, like, one-of-a-kind pieces of quote-unquote art that you own, and you barely even own it because it's entirely reliant upon the image host being up and available. Yeah. Which I guarantee you will not be the case for every image host on the internet. I guarantee they will.
I remember one of the arguments they made for this was like, oh, you know, what if, you know, if you buy a skin for Fortnite and the Fortnite servers go down, your skin's lost forever. It's like, okay, NFTs run on a server as well. What if those servers go down? Then what?
Everything is server based. The only like thing people like maybe I can understand is if you have a real like digital library of art that you have bought on a hard drive, but that is still really dumb.
Yeah, it is.
You're still spending thousands of dollars on a JPEG essentially. And it's just so dumb. I don't get it at all. Yeah, but anyways,
it's not great.
I had a little thing I wanted to say about this. Because it is related to video games, and it is also related to NFTs. Okay. Steam has banned NFTs entirely.
Good for them.
So there is going to be no games that offer any NFT anything on Steam. They will get banned immediately, and their developer will be blacklisted. So
good on you, Valve. Yeah, honestly.
I don't typically really align myself with like the crowd of people who like Valve. I think that they're still a company, and generally speaking, like, you know, they'll do anything to make money. But I think Valve has the foresight into seeing that this is a dumb bubble that will go away within. Honestly, I'm gonna say NFTs are probably gonna be gone within a year.
I certainly hope so.
For sure. I think that Bitcoin definitely has longevity to keep itself going, but NFTs, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No way. I do not believe it for a second. Yeah. No. But yeah, that's what I have to say on that.
Yeah. So I
want to read the next story.
In summary, eat shit, elevated games. That's all I'd like to say.
Eat shit. Eat my shoe.
In other news, SRS Cinema's release for The Great Buddha Arrival is officially up for pre-order on their website now. We talked a few months ago about how they acquired the North American distribution rights for that movie and also Nezura 1964, and now you can pre-order a copy of what might end up being one of the coolest kaiju films in years. That being said, you should probably hurry. SRS usually does these films as a limited release. Currently, the disc is limited to 200 Blu-ray copies, but if all 200 sell, they will run it up to 1,000 copies, which is what they've done in the past for all their other indie Toku's releases. After that, though, you're kind of out of luck until they decide to do either a second Blu-ray pressing or a mass market DVD pressing, which you can quite literally find the DVDs for the Raiga trilogy, Attack of the Giant Teacher, and Howl from Beyond the Fog in bargain bins at like Walmart. But also they have they also do this for all their other indie Tokus releases. They have the super limited VHS tapes up for pre-order, and that's limited to 25 copies. Those will
we have come full circle.
I know. Now VHS is like a collector's item.
VHS is like vinyl, dude.
I know. I would not be. I would not. What's the word I'm looking for? I would not object to VHS coming back.
Neither would I. I just think that if it is going to come back, please make them a little bit slimmer. Just a little bit.
No, I don't know. I feel like if anything changes, like the nostalgia will be lost.
I like how VHSs look on like a shelf, but you can't fit many of them.
That's very true. That is very true.
If any, I have the Blu-ray of the first season of Stranger Things, and that looks it's the same size and dimension of a VHS.
Yeah,
and it eats up
it's big.
Space.
It's not even on my shelf. I have the copy too. It's not even on my shelf because it's too big.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I go pre-order Great Buddha Arrival either on Blu-ray or VHS or both. But
I might do the Blu-ray because I actually have seen a lot of stuff about this movie and I think it looks pretty dope.
Yeah, you absolutely should. I'm really excited to watch it. We'll definitely do an episode on it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we got to go back to doing indie movies.
Yeah, we only did Howl from Beyond the Fog, and I guess Colossal too. Colossal's kind of an indie movie.
Colossal had a big, I don't know, arguable.
I don't know. But yeah, go buy it. Support indie tokusatsu.
Yes.
That's all I got.
All right. Next story. Okay. We've got a trailer for Kaiju Cleanup. While we can't really tell exactly what the plot is because unfortunately neither of us is fluent in Japanese. Hell no. It does.
I took 2 semesters of it and retained none of it.
Yep. It does look really cool and almost feels like a follow-up to Shin Godzilla, as this is dealing with the aftermath of a kaiju attack, with the monster possibly being still alive if the one shot of a heat signature is to be believed. While we don't know if Kaiju Cleanup will be coming to the States at any point, it will be released in Japan on February 4th, 2022.
I really hope it gets a release in the States because it does look really, really cool.
It might. I don't really know anything too much about this game, but I mean, depending on the size of the studio and if it's got like a big developer or like a big publishing company, they may have a localization team.
I'm going to see who's releasing this.
If it's an independent
I think it's
studio,
it looks like it's an independent thing because it says for the production company Kaiju Cleanup Production Committee. So that's definitely an indie film.
So the smaller the production company is, the less likely they have a dedicated localization team.
I mean, to me, that just means SRS Cinema is probably going to be the one to get it because they've been the one carrying the flag for indie Toku in the States here. Yeah.
So I mean, I'd say there's a good chance it might make its way here eventually, but it might be a while.
I don't know. I mean, I mean, Great Buddha and Nezura 1964 came out this year, and we're getting those in the States next year. So
that's a good point.
I don't think it'll be that long before we get it. I think if we get it.
Yeah. I don't know.
We should get Ron Bonk on the show and ask him about it.
Yeah, we should do that. Yeah.
I mean, it'd probably be a very easy thing to do because he's one guy. It's a small company. I'm sure he'd love to talk about it. I'll shoot him a message. I'll shoot him a message later. Actually,
do it.
Can't hurt.
We need more. We need more guests.
We do need more guests. This. I might for our Christmas special. I know that's kind of far away, everyone. But for our Christmas special that I'm already planning, I might try to get Jared on the show again because he was the one who told me about the movie we're going to be covering, and he was giving me so much shit. It was basically the same thing with me trying to get you to watch Ultra Q.
Oh
yeah,
okay, I get you now.
Yeah, so I might try to get Jared on for that Christmas special, but we'll see. Anyways,
we need more guests.
We do need more guests. So I think I'm gonna try to get Ron Bonk on. That could be an interesting, a fun episode to do. Have him talk about all this stuff in our at SRS. But in the meantime, more in the news. Some more melancholy stuff. Director and screenwriter Toshihiro Iijima has unfortunately passed away at the age of 89 from pneumonia. Iijima has a multitude of directing and writing credits across the Ultraman franchise, including The Underground, Super Express Goes West, and Challenge from the year 2020 from Ultra Q, Shoot the Invader and Passport to Infinity from Ultraman, the Seven Assassination Plan two-parter from Ultra 7, Decisive Battle Under the Setting Sun from Return of Ultraman, as well as the films Daigoro vs. Goliath and Ultraman Cosmos: The First Contact. I feel like we've been having way too many deaths in the realm of kaiju lately. I mean, I know it's kind of an old genre, so people are, they're getting up there in age, unfortunately, but I still don't like it very much. It's not fun seeing, these people who have made such, amazing films and TV shows to pass away so close to each other,
it reminds me a lot of the great slew of famous actor deaths we got in like 2016.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. 2016 was bad for big deaths. I remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it feels like it's been more of like a steady stream on the Tokusatsu side.
Yeah,
but
I guess it hasn't really been like the biggest names. Like, we haven't had something like Haruo Nakajima's passing a couple years ago. Like we haven't really gotten something that big. I don't think. Thankfully.
No. I mean, it all still sucks, and it especially sucks now because, like, just due to the state of the world, like the COVID going on, and it's very possible that we've had so many deaths just because like the healthcare system.
Yeah, I know.
Literally every country on Earth is probably at best inconvenienced.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So I don't know. It's just it's a rough time. So it sucks. Yeah. But I wouldn't. I would be naive to say that this isn't going to keep happening.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to hold my breath on that either. But Iijima worked on some great episodes. Some of which the Ultra 7 episodes in particular are some of the best in the franchise. You would know if you watched them, Brian. But
I know.
Anyways, rest in peace, Toshihiro Iijima. We say it all the time, but you will be missed.
Rest in peace. All right. Well, in lighter news, Toho Studios has announced that in celebration of Godzilla Day on November 3rd, mark your calendars. It's literally in a week or so. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's in like 8 days. So yeah, mark your calendars.
Yeah.
They will be releasing a short new film celebrating the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Ghidorah. No, it will not be anything related to the canceled Godzilla 3D to the max with Deathla or anything. It's simply a short featuring the suits for both monsters using Godzilla Final Wars, directed by, say the name, Dave. I can't say that.
Kazuhiro Nakagawa.
There you go. Whose credits include the Day of the Kaiju short film, the Kaiju Cleanup scene. That Kaiju Cleanup seems to take a lot of inspiration from. The Godzilla vs. Evangelion 4D ride at Universal Studios Japan, 2 episodes of Ultraman Z, as well as the short film for last year's Godzilla Festival featuring the newly built 1954 Godzilla suit. It's unclear whether this will be made available online, as the aforementioned short from last year was not. Still, one can always hope.
I mean, it looks cool. It's Godzilla and Hedorah fighting again.
I do like the Hedorah suit from Final Wars. I don't really like.
You know what? I found out something interesting about the Final Wars Hedorah.
What?
I got to bring it up on good old Toho Kingdom, because they were the ones that had the piece of trivia for that suit. 1 second. Yeah, here we go. Okay. This is in the trivia section of the Final Wars Hedorah on Toho Kingdom. The mobile game Godzilla Defense Force has codex entries for every kaiju that appears in the game tied to their movie appearances. This is broken down by specific versions, and both the 1971 and 2004 versions of Hedorah each have their own codex. For the Millennium version, it notes that this is not the same creature that appeared in Godzilla vs. Hedorah, as this one has a red extension on its left hand that only occurs in the males of the species. This would indicate that the Hedorah seen in Godzilla Final Wars was male. This could also be interpreted as saying that the Hedorah in the Showa series was female in contrast, but doesn't necessarily confirm this, nor is it brought up in the separate codex entry for the 1971 Hedorah.
What?
So I guess it's, with very big quotations, canon that the original Hedorah is female?
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see like how this is just such a weird.
It is, and this is from a mobile game
thing.
too that we're getting this information from. But it is a
And
licensed mobile game, so
it's confirmed canonical.
I again, with very big quotations, canonical.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I have no qualms with that. I don't think we really don't have many female kaiju other than Mothra.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have headcanon that Destroy is female, which I kind of subscribe to that because I like the idea of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We don't really have many female kaiju that I can think of in the Godzilla pantheon, at least.
Yeah, no, I don't.
The female Muto,
so.
But yeah, I'm big on
that. Everyone likes female Muto because she's thick.
She is pretty thick.
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm gonna cut that out.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I'm excited about it. I mean, we got pictures of the remade or the newly built 54 suit from last year,
and it looks fantastic.
And it looked really good.
I mean, they made it for the Boss Coffee commercial, which you can watch, and that is incredible. That's incredible.
An incredible commercial, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not really a Godzilla commercial. It's a tribute to Haruo Nakajima and his suit acting, because I think they did it right after he passed. And as a tribute, it is fucking dope. It is like, for a fucking coffee commercial, it's fucking incredible. America's got to step up its game with their They really do. Man. I mean, Boss Coffees, they're the ones who had Tommy Lee Jones as their spokesperson for a while. I remember that. Yeah. There's all those really awkward commercials of Tommy Lee Jones just in Japan, just not in Japan drinking coffee. Yeah. Yeah. It's great. But yeah, I really hope we get this short. And I've been seeing a lot of posts online from people in two different categories here. One is from a lot of newer fans saying, "What the hell is this? It looks so fake. It doesn't look real." And it's like, do you know anything about Godzilla apart from the MonsterVerse films? Yeah. This is what it looked like for 50 fucking years. Shut your damn mouth. Well, I mean, like, they are, like, I mean, you call them, like, newer fans to the genre, but yeah, I mean, but like, or like the series or whatever, but it is still like really dumb. You should at least know like some of the franchise's history, like the most like minuscule amount of it, you know? Yeah. I mean, like, I know people that like know just a very small amount about Godzilla, and they know that he was a dude in a suit. Yeah, like they know. I mean, that was like the bane of that. It was like the bane of everyone's jokes. Everyone made, "Oh, it looks so fake. It's, you know, a big man in a rubber suit." It's like that's ingrained into like pop culture. Unfortunately, like you should know that's the case with Godzilla. Yeah, but yeah, that's annoying to hear. But, and the other side of the posts I've been seeing is that this is kind of like the first Godzilla thing we've seen with, you know, actual real tokusatsu effects since Godzilla Final Wars, which is almost 20 years old now, which is shocking to imagine because that makes me feel really old because I saw that movie in theaters. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this was, I mean, I think this was something that when you initially told me about the Godzilla Day thing, and then we were talking about how, or you had mentioned that like no real tokusatsu has been a thing for the past 20 years, and I was like, oh shit, I had to like think about it for a minute, and like I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like Godzilla hasn't had fucking any of it
I mean,
for a while.
there's a pachinko game that they did in like 2005, which used a lot of the Final Wars suits, but not the Godzilla suit. They used the Mega Gira suit for that for whatever reason. But that's still 2005. That's still 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, they kind of used Suitmation for like Shin.
No, but the thing that no, they didn't use Suitmation. They were going to use. There's this enormous animatronic that's like 8 or 9 feet tall that they had built, and there's pictures of it you can see. And if you dig deep enough, I think there's some video clips of it behind the scenes too. But for whatever reason, they didn't end up using it in the final film. So the final film is just CGI. There's no trace of the big animatronic, which is a shame because again, you can see video of the animatronic. It looks incredible, both in detail and the way it moves. Because in the movie, let's be honest, Shin Godzilla, he doesn't move that much in the movie. He's a very stationary character. But the way he moves as the animatronic is, because it's an animatronic, it's a little jerky, and it's very unsettling because that's not how a living creature is supposed to move. And that would have been really cool to see. But for whatever reason, they just didn't end up using the animatronic. There used to be a video like this, like it was a maybe 20-minute documentary on it from I think Yoko Higuchi it was, who's a friend of mine who worked on Shin Godzilla. He had a whole series of Shin Godzilla mini docs on his YouTube channel, but for whatever reason, he privated them all a couple years ago, which is a shame because I remember really wanting to show someone that video on the animatronic, and I could not find it for the life of me. But yeah, so we could have gotten some quote unquote tokusatsu in Shin Godzilla, but for whatever reason, they just didn't end up using it, and I really don't know why.
That's a shame. I mean, it's possible it could have just been due to projected upkeep costs, but even then, like...
But they already had the thing built.
That's true, but if it's an animatronic, then it needs to be kept going.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to hire people to maintain it, and but that being said, though, CG is also very expensive.
It is.
Makes me think that the reason Shin Godzilla didn't move very much is to save on CG costs.
That's honestly very possible.
I actually think that might be the reason, because it's already going to be, you have a lot of Shin Godzilla taking place during daytime, which means that the effects have to look better because you don't have nighttime to hide it. And then on top of that, like, you do have scenes at nighttime, but they're very effect heavy.
Yeah.
With his breath. So that makes sense to me why you don't really see him move very much.
I'm watching a clip of this animatronic as you're talking, and I'm getting upset that we didn't see this.
Yeah, it is a shame. But yeah, I mean, this was something that we wanted to bring up because I think it's an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, don't get wrong. Like, there are still people doing tokusatsu still, like Tsuburaya with Ultraman. Like, they're still. I mean, aside from like beam effects, obviously, they're all still using tokusatsu. How From Beyond the Fog is tokusatsu.
I was gonna say that one. Yep.
Great.
Even our good friend Jared.
Yeah,
the show. He practices tokusatsu.
Yeah, that's all he does with Xenophon is he wants to keep the art form alive. It's just weird.
I say it's still healthy. It's just weird to see one of the biggest properties that kind of popularized it.
Not even popularized. It was tokusatsu was invented by Eiji Tsuburaya in the original Godzilla. That's where the art form came from. Because they wanted to do it stop motion like King Kong, but they didn't have the time for it, so they needed to figure out something more, time and cost effective.
Yeah.
So
it's very strange to see Godzilla move away from it.
Yeah, and I mean,
and I think it's a good possibility that maybe they'll steer back to it someday.
I really hope so. I mean, again, we don't really know what Toho's plans are for Godzilla going forward. I think we mentioned it maybe on the last episode. I don't remember, but we now that after Singular Point aired, there's nothing that we know of big for Godzilla. There's no movies. We don't have a season 2 for Singular Point confirmed yet, so we really don't know what's going on. Obviously, we would love to see Godzilla kind of go back to its roots, as it were, to have more suitmation and stuff. Because, I mean, that's what, for me, that's what kind of drew me to the franchise. Like, I liked how it looked. I liked the kind of like not realistic look to it, because it's fun. It's really fun to watch those effects.
It adds character.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that, there's a lot of things that make movies entertaining. You got like good story, characters, visuals, all that stuff. But like a movie that has character to it has an entire other layer that keeps people coming back to them.
Yeah. And I mean, so, Jared mentioned this when we had him on the show. He said that like if you try to make something look as real as possible, you lose some of the charm that comes with those kind of practical, traditional special effects.
Yep, for sure. I agree with that. Yep. Like I have a lot of fun going back and watching, like the Showa Godzilla movies.
Yeah, it's
why even though they're not new looking, but every time I put on Terror of Mechagodzilla, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, I love both of those movies dearly, and they're just like nothing that you can get nowadays. It's just not.
Yeah, it's why I've been really enjoying that Mill Creek's been doing all their Ultraman stuff, because it's like I'm uncovering this previously unknown to me world of tokusatsu that has this long, rich history, richer even than Godzilla, and I just never knew about it until very recently. So it's like I'm discovering this whole new world of tokusatsu. But yeah, I mean, like we said, Godzilla is really the only one who's not really doing tokusatsu anymore. So hopefully we can get back to that at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, me personally, like I want to wrap up this mini topic because we have a couple more things to get to in the main topic. But I think something that I personally would like to see is I'd like to see Godzilla, and I know that we may sound a little hypocritical here because we're just like, well, Godzilla, like we want it to go back to its roots, like with whatever, and then we also go on here saying like, oh, everything that comes out is too samey, do something new. But I think that I'd really like to see Godzilla go back to using tokusatsu, but also do new things, like continue to do new things, like new origins and just different like settings and stuff like that. Like you can make very fresh takes on the character, but still use traditional methods to make the movies.
Yeah,
like it's absolutely possible. Like. One of the coolest films I've ever seen, Howl from Beyond the Fog, is very unique, but it uses a very traditional style to make the effects work. It uses tokusatsu. So that's something I'd like to see. I don't know. I think it's something very interesting that I think fans should think about more.
I agree.
If they, if it's really, if it's like, because like, some people may think about it and be like, what do I like about kaiju media is, some people may think that tokusatsu is not inherent to making it special. Some people do. I think it does.
I agree.
So I think as a fan, you kind of owe it to yourself to kind of think about it and kind of like digest the topic a bit. And that's my opinion.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I think that about wraps up our mini topic that we wanted to talk about. So let's get into our next segments.
This segment, my favorite, r slash Godzilla is cancerous. It was your turn to pick the story this week.
It was
so,
my turn to pick the story, and
let me hear it.
Yeah, so it's not any specific post. It's just
just like last week.
Yeah, it's a genre of post that I've been seeing on r/Godzilla that bugs me to no end. And I don't even know if it's like the same guy doing it. It might be, but I know it's Reddit. But for the love of God, can we please stop with the ultra low effort posts that are just a low res JPEG of some random kaiju, and it's the title of the post is Thoughts on this Kaiju Day X, that consistently get thousands of upvotes and awards. And I'm like, what the hell? Why are people like supporting this something this low effort? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, hey, it's literally just like, hey, isn't Gigan cool? That's all these posts are.
I have a couple thoughts on why they may be so popular. One is it could be algorithm based.
Maybe.
I'm not sure what Reddit uses for promoting content. I know that like sites, everyone knows that like sites like YouTube and Instagram and whatever, they all use algorithms. So I assume Reddit uses something similar.
Yeah.
So it's possible that this person just figured out a way to karma farm.
It's entirely possible, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
I'm willing to bet that that's the case because there's a lot of other people on thousands of other subreddits to do the same thing.
Uh-huh.
I do agree with you that it is super low effort, but you're right, it is just Reddit. And another probably less realistic take is that people. I mean, no, it's realistic, but I doubt that it contributes as much to why it's so popular. But I think people just like to talk about their opinions.
I mean, that's fair.
And Godzilla fans love to tell you about their opinions.
That's also very fair.
They like to talk at you about their opinions. There's not a whole lot of constructive, friendly discourse on there. So
or anywhere.
I just feel like people like to go on there and just like, it kind of had to do with like the story, the post I picked from last week where it was just people giving their bad takes.
Yeah. Where
I just had a feeling that it was just people trying to make the most shocking takes as possible to get up votes or people commenting back. But honestly, I don't know. I'm willing to bet it's definitely an algorithm based, but it is very, very dumb.
Yeah.
And I think if you spend your time karma farming, what are you even doing? What does that karma get you?
Internet points.
The karma literally gets you nothing.
Yeah.
All of the time. It is almost as dumb as NFTs, except you don't spend money.
Yeah, you don't spend thousands of dollars on it.
You spend time in your life.
You can spend money on the awards, which is even more useless, but
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you could just get the free award that Reddit gives you every day.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know that was the thing.
Yeah, they give you a free one every day.
I barely comment on things anyways, so it doesn't fucking matter to me.
I never comment anything. I just read stuff and move on. But yeah, wow. I hate that stuff too, though. It kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me back in the day. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I remember back, like, it feels like forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
But we would always follow like all the kaiju media and like Godzilla pages on Facebook, and they would always have like super low effort content.
Yeah,
and always like just really cheesy names and whatever, and it's just like the worst. I don't even know why I followed any of that stuff. I think it was probably for news.
Probably.
And then there was one that we followed. It was Godzilla shitposting, and that one just went down.
Oh
the
my
trash.
God! Don't even remind me of Godzilla shitposting.
The evolution of Godzilla shitposting was one of the most fascinating falls to the garbage I've ever seen.
It really was.
It was. No, it
wasn't Godzilla shitposting. It was Godzilla versus everyone.
No, it was that one, but also Godzilla shitposting.
Was it? Okay.
So Godzilla vs. Everyone was one too. That one turned into a shit show. But Godzilla shit posting, I remember you and I, it was like the last Godzilla page that we followed because it was just shit posting.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whether it was an ownership change or the person who ran it got really unfunny. But man, their posts took a steep nosedive in humor, and that was the thing for me. I unfollowed it. I think they were on Twitter and on Facebook, and I unfollowed both because it was just so unfunny and so lame. But I don't really remember what it was about Godzilla versus Everyone. I think
it
that
was
one just kind of
it was mostly the same as Godzilla shit posting, I think.
Yeah, I think that a lot of you just run out of shit to post.
Yeah.
On those. And they would always have like 4 moderators / posters and stuff, which just means that they ran out of stuff fast. And this was back during the time where we kind of were like the only. I want to say this is back when we definitely had lulls in the news cycle. So they had like no news to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is any Godzilla page on any social media website should be burned and thrown in the garbage.
The only one I like is Gormaru Island because they're usually pretty solid about stuff. They're good.
You
They're
could
good
find
people
some.
like Gormaru.
You could find some diamonds in the rough, but most of it's just rough.
Yeah, most of it's rough.
All right,
but that about wraps up for our
slash
Godzilla sucks block.
I think next time maybe we should find. I'm going to try and find an actual post.
Okay.
I'll put some time into it.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Not dragging your segment down or anything.
No, that's fine.
Just saying. Gave me a little bit of time to reminisce about terrible Godzilla pages.
There you go.
But our main topic today is 100
spooky.
monsters. It's spooky time. Actually, I wanted to say something.
Okay.
So originally, when Dave and I were brainstorming this episode, I had the idea of covering one of my favorite and least favorite movies.
Oh God.
For Halloween, Eight-Legged Freaks. I hate the movie, but I also like it because it's so stupid. And it's Scarlett Johansson's first feature film.
I remember seeing that movie in like Blockbuster.
Yep.
And I remember
that's how I first saw it.
Because
I rented it from Blockbuster.
Because it says on the poster from the producers of Independence Day and Godzilla. So it must have been the same. Yeah, it's Dean Devlin producing, who produced 1998 Godzilla. So there's your link to even bigger kaiju media as a whole.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I've never seen this movie, but I see the credits now, and it says Rob Paulson, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Frank Welker as the voices of various spiders.
Yeah.
Do they talk?
No, they basically, from what I remember, they kind of just had actors make noises and then fed them through noise filters.
I mean, I get that for Frank Welker because that's like his thing, but Rob Paulson and Kevin Michael Richardson, they're like actual voice actors. I mean, so is Frank Welker, but like Frank Welker's the guy who usually does like the noises, not Rob Paulson and Kevin Richardson.
Well, they needed just more voices. There's a lot of spiders.
I just like how it's credited as the voices of various spiders.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
No, the movie is really dumb. If for any non-arachnophobes here, go see it. It's funny. It's not scary. It's the spiders have gotten past the point where they're creepy to me because they're just so comically large.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point of this, what I was getting to, was that we decided to not go with it because we wanted to cover this movie.
Did you want to talk real quick? Did you want to talk about what the original title was of the Eight-Legged Freaks, Brian?
Oh,
because
I don't know.
I have it up right here. I can talk about it. It's kind of funny.
I think I have heard it, but I don't remember it. What is it?
So it says the film was originally titled Iraq Attack.
Okay.
But the
Yeah,
similarity
that makes sense.
to Iraq attack made the title seem inappropriate so near to the start of the Iraq War.
Honestly, though, Eight-Legged Freaks is a way better name.
It is. It is. It's just funny that
Especially
was the reason for
because the main
title
character
change.
says the main character says Eight-Legged Freaks in the movie.
Yeah,
and
it
you can do that
says- it
where you
says
just go
on
like, oh, he
here.
said it.
It says the title Eight-Legged Freaks is a line that Arquette ad-libbed in the movie.
Yep.
So, okay,
Yeah.
that's all I wanted
All right.
to add.
Well, anyways, what I wanted to say was, so we didn't go with covering that movie, but today I got a notification that one of my favorite movie reviewers, Chris Stuckman, just today did an episode on Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's funny.
The absolute coincidence. And I was just looking at my phone and I was like, there's no way.
That's great. I didn't see
this
that.
happened.
I'll have to watch that when I get home.
Because every Halloween, Chris Stuckman does his Halloween event, his Halloween, whatever, where he covers like horror movies and stuff.
Mhm.
And I was just like, that is so funny. There's absolutely no way.
That's great.
So if we covered Eight-Legged Freaks, then
we could have got Chris Stuckman on the show.
yeah, we could have. I would love to speak to that guy. He's so cool.
He is. I doubt he'd want to come on the show though.
Probably not. He's way too popular for us. But he does like Godzilla.
Does he? I've only really seen him
does.
talk about the MonsterVerse stuff.
He likes Shin Godzilla.
Okay. Everyone likes Shin Godzilla though.
But he said that he watched like Godzilla on and off.
Okay. All right.
But anyways, he's a super cool reviewer. If y'all want a good reviewer to watch, he's super cool. Really good takes on stuff. He was actually the first movie reviewer that I saw review Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and his review made me go, "Oh no!" But yeah, that was my little side thing.
On the topic of reviewing, let's get into reviewing 100 Monsters, Brian.
Yeah. So how do we want to do this? When we talk about the story, you want to talk about what we thought of it?
I think we should just give general thoughts right out the top.
Okay. I actually don't want to. I don't actually want to talk about the plot to this movie. One, because I don't think it's necessarily important.
Yeah, I agree.
Two, because I think this is a very experience. You want to watch this movie. You don't want to hear about us talk about what happens.
Okay, you say that, but we're definitely going to end up spoiling it anyways. We're
going to spoil it. So I'm going to take this time to say right here in imaginary red lettering with a very annoying buzzer sound, spoilers.
Yeah,
because we're gonna talk about it. But
we're gonna talk about a movie from 1968. Spoiler alert.
But this movie is not very accessible. I mean, you can access it. You can access it right now through Arrow, but I mean, like, most people are not going to know what this movie is.
Yeah, no.
So that's why I'm saying I want people to, if they have not heard of it, now you know about it, and now you can go watch it. So if you haven't seen it, stop listening. Come back later, but go watch it. It's on the Arrow streaming service. There is a 7-day free trial, right?
I think probably.
Yeah, I think it's a 7-day free trial. So go do that. You can cancel it afterwards, or don't, because I've got some cool stuff on there. But yeah, go watch it.
Yeah.
That being said, I think this movie rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie rocked.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, honestly. I think part of that is because I was expecting it to be something else. Like, I think I was expecting it to be more of like, more of a full-on horror movie, and it wasn't that. That's not to say that's a bad thing. It's just it's not what I was expecting it to be, because I mean, I didn't really know much about yokai going into this. The only thing I knew about yokai was that they were Japanese ghosts and demons, in folklore. So I was kind of expecting it to be more of a horror movie, but that's not. I don't think that's what this is. This This is almost kind of in line with like something like Evil Dead 2, in that it's kind of, or maybe not merely Evil Dead 2, maybe more Army of Darkness, in that it's more of a comedy than a horror movie. And there's nothing wrong with that. I fucking love Army of Darkness. But this just kind of took me by surprise with how different it was than I was expecting. And so you watched it on Arrow's streaming service. I got the Arrow box set with it, and the box set comes with this like 40-minute documentary that, you know, kind of details the history of yokai and, you know, their impact on Japanese culture. And I watched that, I think, the day after I watched 100 Monsters, and I kind of got more of an understanding as to what yokai are. Like, they're not really horror-based characters. They're more like pop culture. They're almost, this is a really kind of a shitty comparison, but at the same time, it's actually kind of an accurate one. Like, the yokai in Japan are kind of like what Minions are for us in the US. Like, they're very popular, like kid-friendly characters that just have a basis in more of a horror-tinged culture.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think with that knowledge in mind, after I watched the documentary, I'm like, oh, I should rewatch the movie, and now that I have more of an understanding of this. Because this movie, again, like I said, this is kind of more of a comedy. It's a funny movie. It's not really, I mean, there are moments of horror, you know, with the Roku.
There's one I wanted to.
Oh, go for it.
The big face lady.
Oh yeah, the split faced lady.
That took me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking a beer like I do. I looked away from my screen for a second.
Yep.
I looked back because I heard the laugh, and I'm like,
oh no,
what the fuck is that?
Oh no.
So it's actually funny because big faces just in a space is not something I haven't seen before. There's actually something very similar in Silent Hill 4.
Okay.
There's like you walk down a hallway and there's a giant face at the end of the hallway.
I thought you were going to bring up Rey in Evangelion, but that works too.
Well, also, I mean, Rey also, I mean, sure. She's more of just a giant being. I'm talking about just a giant face.
Okay, all right.
Giant floating face. So it's and Silent Hill is a Japanese property. So like this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is scary, and holy shit. That I hated that a lot. that actually scared me a little bit. But yeah, anyways, go on. What were you saying?
I lost my train of thought while you were talking.
Damn. All right.
But you can go into it. Yeah.
Since you forgot, I mean, basically, you know, this movie, it's kind of like, you know, old village. You got like these bad dudes that come by, want to ruin a temple, and you know, then the ghosts come out and they kill everyone essentially, sort of. I don't know. I don't really know if they kill everyone.
Only kill like the main villain of the film.
Yeah, because they kind of really just scare everyone off.
Yeah, because
they killed the actual bad people.
Yeah, that's what they talked about in the documentary. It's that, you know, yokai aren't, you know, they aren't, you know, malevolent spirits. They're just spirits. I think one of the guys in the who was interviewed for the documentary said, you know, they're good to good people, but they're bad to bad people. So if you're like a good person, you have nothing to worry about. They're just very friendly spirits. And you can see that in the film with the main villain's son, who, you know, he's hanging out with the Tsukumogami, which is the umbrella thing, which is,
oh my god,
I didn't like that thing, Brian. I don't know about you. I did not like it.
I thought it was really creepy looking, but
I think it's just the tongue. It's the tongue that makes it weird for me. I don't like it.
I did think it was really funny when you saw it walking, and I noticed that it has just like a wooden leg with a sandal.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's funny. That's a funny touch." But yeah, the that was, whew, wow, that was something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a little bit of knowledge about like yokai and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I know that they're more like generally they're a bit more complex than like European and Western
Yeah.
ghosts. From what I understand, I know this is gonna sound kind of like like oh there's no difference, but yokai are more like apparitions than they are spirits.
Mhm.
Like they take forms as like specific things that are that that they're related to or whatnot. Um, and I just think that that's a lot more interesting. I was actually talking about this with my good friend Keegan. We were talking about the difference between like Japanese folklore and stuff like that between like Western stuff and European stuff and like kind of like what we're more familiar with as being conventional ghosts that we see in a lot of horror movies. And I was making the argument that Japanese folklore and their kind of like spirits and their yokai and stuff like that is a lot more interesting because it's just they're more complex. Like they have more nuance to them than just European and Western spirits just being like, oh yeah, that'll fuck you up if you're anywhere near it. Like Keegan was saying, like, yeah, like I find like European stuff to be like really funny because it's like oh, you got a banshee in your house, that thing will fucking chase you down and kill you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, well, I mean, like, I think like Japanese stuff is really cool because a lot of their horror is based around things, not even necessarily people, but just stuff that's been like forgotten or disgraced, coming back and haunting people or cursing them. And I think that that's really cool. But then not all of these supernatural entities are necessarily bad. They're just there. It's like a part of their natural world. Whereas here it's more unnatural and like, it's not something that like people would integrate with life, I guess. But in a lot of like Japanese folklore, their spirits and stuff, it's seen as or at least phrased in a way of being like natural to the world, sort of. If you get what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
I think that just makes everything so much more interesting. And so going into this movie, I was having a great time because I knew that yokai could be little bastards, and seeing them be that was great.
That's definitely accurate. They're kind of bastards.
There
in
is
this movie.
You got some real bad dudes in this movie, and it's fun seeing them get what's coming to them. But man, there's just parts of this movie that I really liked, specifically the part with all the yokai like leaving the village and like dancing around and leaving in like a line.
Yeah,
into,
they're just
forest.
vibing, man.
And I was like, man, this is great. Like you just don't see stuff like this. I was having a great time, and like the music is creepy too.
Oh yeah,
but it's the way that it's framed. It's just like charming. I really liked it.
Yeah, I from what I've heard, the other two movies, in the Yokai Monsters trilogy, specifically Spook Warfare, is really like that. Like the yokai are like kind of the main characters of that movie, but we're not talking about Spook Warfare right now. We're talking about 100 Monsters. And actually, I was kind of surprised. I really shouldn't have been surprised, but like it's really more of a drama up until the last like half hour, which I was surprised about. But again, I shouldn't have been because Daimajin is very much in the same vein as that. Like it really doesn't become a kaiju movie until that last like half hour, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised at how similar the Daimajin movies and this movie felt.
Yeah. And again, it's the same director, so I really should not be surprised.
It had a lot of the same pacing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It felt like the movies had Daimajin and 100 Monsters had very, very similar like structure and flow to them.
And cast with the
Yeah.
main character is Yoshihiko Aoyama, who is the main character in Daimajin and also kind of the main character in One Other Monsters. And he's basically in the same exact costume in this as he is in Daimajin. So it's just funny to see. It's like such a similar movie, just both in like pacing and plot. Because in Daimajin, it's I don't remember the main villain's name in Daimajin, and I don't remember the main villain's name in Wonder Monsters either. But
I don't think they're necessarily that important, though.
no, Samanasuke. That's the main guy's name and the villain's name in Daimajin. Like his whole thing is he overthrows the Lord Regent or whatever, and he takes over the village. And then in Wonder Monsters, the main villain, he's taking over a shrine to put in a brothel or whatever, and so
he's the magistrate.
The magistrate, yeah. And in Daimajin comes in and wrecks shit and not really fixes everything, but he makes it so that the town can carry on.
He kills everyone.
He sort of
so that
helps. But then in One Other Monsters, the yokai come and they deal with the magistrate, and the town can carry on. They're very similar films in terms of plot and pacing and structure. And I think but at the same time, like they feel like drastically different films. Because again, Daimajin it's kind of a horror. I think Daimajin's actually more of a horror movie than this. Now that I think about it.
The first. I mean, I distinctly remember the first Daimajin movie being like pretty scary.
Yeah, it's we could have even done Daimajin for this for this episode, but I wanted to do something I hadn't seen before. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I lost my train of thought with that. But yeah, Daimajin is more of a horror movie than this. So they really feel drastically different despite being like structurally very similar.
However, I do want to pose this. I think that because I was actually thinking about Daimajin a lot while watching this. And I don't think Daimajin is a Halloween movie, but I do think this one is. I do think 100 Monsters is. Daimajin it's scary, sure, but I think that like thematically it doesn't really fit with Halloween all that much. That's a very good point. This because like a big part of this film is telling stories. And I think that that thematically that is like on point for something Halloween-y. Because that's not. I mean, that's not really what Halloween's all about. But for a lot of people, it is what Halloween's about. Telling scary stories, and that's exactly what they do in this film. I mean, a big part of Halloween in general is just like, a lot of people, including us, we just like watch horror movies, and movies are a storytelling format. So in essence, it's kind of meta, in my opinion. Like it's like you have a movie that's about telling ghost stories, and then you're supposed to cleanse it with a ritual, but all these people didn't do that, which is why they all died, because they're stupid. I'm assuming everyone listening has watched the movie, but basically everyone dies super avoidable death because they didn't do a 5-minute ritual.
Yeah, I'm sure the ritual would not have even taken that long. So like they really they were just that fucking lazy, and that got them killed.
Because what you're supposed to do, what we're shown in the movie is that you have like I think he's like a priest equivalent.
Yeah,
come in and he tells 100 stories, and after each story you like blow out a candle.
Which, by the way, I don't think they had enough candles to blow out.
They did not have enough candles. No way. No way.
They only had
maybe
like
they did
10.
it in like maybe they did it after 10 stories. Also, How long were they there?
Yeah, I found
Listen,
myself thinking that too. Because if you're telling 100 stories, that's a lot of stories. And unless
even
these
a
stories,
story,
unless they're doing like the whole Reddit like 2-sentence horror stories thing, which they clearly weren't, judging by the one story we saw, they must have been there for hours.
like even like if you do like a basic like 10-minute story, that's a long time.
That's still what, so 10 minutes for 100 stories. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
I can find it for you.
Go do the math. I'm not good at math.
So what? So we're gonna assume that it's
10 minutes per story.
So 10 times 100. That's 1,000 minutes.
All right, now let me. Let's do minutes to hours here. I don't know. That did not help. Minutes to hours. Let's see.
I got it.
You got it? 1,000.
Wait. What?
Yeah, that's almost 17 hours.
Holy shit. They were there for... Wow. That's rough.
So
maybe he just quick fired them. I don't know.
I don't know. It's really unclear.
I mean, maybe it's one of those things where it's like there's 100 stories that you could pick from, and then you just tell like 10 of them.
Maybe. That didn't seem like what it was though. It did really. They definitely implied that he told 100 stories.
Yeah. So I don't know the exact plausibility of that one, but basically, like with that, after he tells the 100 stories, you're supposed to blow out the last candle.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to do a ritual to get rid of the curse, I guess.
Yeah, the curse of the yokai.
After you do this, you're cursed, and like an apparition will appear or whatever, and you have to do this ritual to get rid of that. This asshole was just like, "Nah, we don't need it. I'm gonna do a ritual of my own." And then the priest was just like begging him, like, we need to do this, or else y'all are gonna die, dude. Or not die, but like he's just like, y'all are gonna get haunted real bad. And
you're gonna get just spooked like, no, if you don't do this.
He's like, dude, no, we don't need this ritual. And so the guy's just like, the priest guy's just like, all right, whatever, I'm out of here. And then this dude's ritual is just handing out money.
Yeah, essentially. That's right. I forgot about that.
And everyone lost the money because they all got ghost robbed.
Yeah.
Because after that, it was all downhill. Everyone started getting haunted, and then they were just like I don't remember what it was. It was like a voice saying "leave it" over and over again.
Yeah.
And all these dudes like threw their money away. But yeah, I just had such a great time watching this. I really thought that I really like this kind of like, like I like mythological stuff, kind of like this.
Yeah, same.
And I just think it was just such a great watch. Definitely more of a comedy. I think one of my favorite scenes from this was the magistrate guy was like trying to do something, and he was like yelling at like these two old guys, and he's like, I'm supposed to be the next whatever magistrate up the line or whatever. And then you have one of the the main character dude who's like, we later find out is like an agent of the high magistrate there to like spy on him. And he notices that the guys that the magistrate is supposedly yelling at aren't there. And then they reveal themselves to be yokai, and then you just get like this room full of yokai, and these things look awesome.
Yeah, they're like, just like super unique. Like there's so much work put into like the suits for this movie.
Yeah, they're just like dancing around, doing like somersaults, climbing on the walls. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is so much fun to watch. And I really appreciate how much work they put into it. I think that because it was like, depending on who you are, it could be really scary or really funny to watch it.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of both because the music and the sound that they used, it was spooky, but I kept just thinking that the agent for the High Magistrate was watching this the whole time. This guy running around this room with a knife, trying to cut these yokai down. I just couldn't stop smiling because how goofy it is. But yeah, I think that probably solidified this as one of my favorite horror Halloween quote unquote horror movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene was probably when the magistrate's like second in command is like trying to, I can't even remember what it was. He was trying to find, I think the character is, and then all of a sudden, you know, he has this like small army with him, and then all of a sudden the yokai appear, and all of a sudden all his soldiers turn into faceless husks. And like that was really kind of haunting. I'm like, wow, that's fucking terrifying there.
So that actually, thanks for reminding me about that scene. That was one of like the other moments that I was like, oh shit, this is like horror.
Yeah,
this is creepy. Like if you showed that to like a kid, I don't think they'd like it.
Here's the thing, like yokai are like they're kid friendly characters. I think these movies kind of have the same feel as like Goosebumps does here in the States. It's very Goosebumps-esque.
I do think you're right about that. I actually was one of the things I was thinking about was the scary stories tell in the dark.
Yeah.
I was thinking a lot about that because I owned those books, and I haven't seen the new movie yet, but
it's fine.
I heard it was good or
it's fine.
But I did see the creature effects for those movie or that movie, and they looked pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of thought a lot about that. I never read many of the Goosebumps books, but I imagine it's pretty comparable.
If I remember correctly, Goosebumps was a little slightly more kid friendly than Scary Stories, but like it almost.
But they
didn't
did have
really matter.
some.
Yeah,
they did have some that were like deep dives into horror.
I mean, it's very similar to Scary Stories. Like, it was mostly about the artwork that was the scary part. It wasn't really the stories themselves. But
man, that artwork was haunting.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah. So I think like this is a great thing for. I mean, not really for anyone here in the States because I don't think these movies are available dubbed. But I wouldn't really go ahead and show this to like a kid in the States because he'd be like, I can't understand what this guy is saying,
read,
and I don't have enough of an attention span to read subtitles. But like
unless you have a very
Japan,
cultured kid,
yeah. But let's be honest, that's not going to be the case.
No.
But yeah, like like a kid in Japan, like that. I would absolutely show this to yeah.
Yeah, if you moved to Japan.
Yeah, if I moved to Japan and had a Japanese kid.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is going to happen. That's not going to be the case.
No, I don't think so either, Dave. Nope.
But
maybe you could adopt a Japanese child.
Maybe, and he only speaks Japanese, so I would never be able to communicate with him.
Yeah, you have to use like sign language.
Yeah.
Man, that's weird. All right.
Anyways, moving on.
Off that. Yeah, that scene, going back to the faceless scene, I forgot
that's how we got. I don't even know how we got from that to what we were talking about just now.
Sometimes we just go. We're like a boat.
Yeah.
Just go. Yeah, I really like that scene. I wanted to mention the right before that when that like ghost orb thing in the sky appears.
That he throws the spear at and then chucks it back at him.
Yeah. So funny thing about that scene, up until this point, I don't think we ever saw anyone like actually get murdered. It was kind of all like
aftermath.
We see a lot of aftermath and like off-screen stuff.
Yeah,
we saw people get beat up too.
We see that story. It's like the one story the guy tells out of the 100 with the
with
the Roku Rokubi, the long-necked woman.
She was also creepy.
Yes. Oh, yes, she was. And I think the documentary mentioned that it's like she's like one of the more famous yokai in Japanese culture.
I can see it.
Yeah.
It's very memorable. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We see that they never actually made it home after fishing. They got struck by lightning on the way home. Yeah. But we don't see them get struck by lightning, but we see that they are dead.
Yes. But anyways, so like we do see like we see people die, but we don't see them like in the moment get murdered. This dude, for some reason, was just like, yeah, I'm gonna throw a spear at that
at the moon
that is impossibly high in the sky from my point of view. And he throws it, and it makes this really god awful creepy noise. And it throws the spear back, and it impales this dude.
Mm-hmm.
I audibly like said, "Oh, that man's dead," like out loud in my room by myself. I said, "Oh, that man's dead."
Yeah,
I just wasn't expecting
it.
It was like kind of one of those things. I was like, "Oh shit, that guy's wow." Yeah, I really like that scene. I think the last third of this movie is really special.
Yeah, because just like Daimajin, it's where the movie like really ramps up in terms of like action. So I think that it does make it kind of more memorable than the rest of the movie. Not to say that the movie's forgettable, just that like that last chunk is like the most memorable.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff leading up is very like drama focused.
Yeah.
Like, there's like action scenes between the high magistrate spy guy. I don't remember his name, but he was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
They called him like Masterless Samurai for a while. But they were like trying to figure out who he was. And like they had a bunch of action scenes between him, like kicking ass. They also had like a bunch of scenes between like the bad guys talking about what they're going to do, whatever. And then eventually it all catches up with them at the final, the final third of the movie, and it's just great. It's great. It is a lot like Daimajin for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do think though that I want to say the middle of the movie didn't drag, but I did find myself wanting the movie to go a little faster.
Yeah, and it's weird because the movie's it's less than an hour and a half. It's 80 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not long.
Weird. It does feel long, oddly enough.
It just felt like a little bit of people being in the same place.
Yeah,
more than once.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, you and I both love like slow burn horror films. I mean, I constantly. I actually have not watched it since we watched it at your house, however many years ago. But I consistently recommend people watch The House of the Devil by Ty West because
that is a fantastic movie.
It's a masterclass in slow burn horror. But
for
whatever
best sound design, I've ever heard.
But for whatever reason, like it didn't really work as well here for slow burn stuff. I don't really know why.
I think because it's not horror.
Yeah,
it's horror, but it's not like conventional horror that meshes well with slow burn. I think that this movie is very much about visuals. Yeah, and like the presence from the yokai is what makes it special.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you I think an easy way to, I don't want to say fix this movie because this movie is still a great watch.
I wouldn't say there's like anything objectively wrong with it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that the structure of this movie is deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
It is deliberate for sure. I just think with maybe a little bit more yokai in the middle, maybe would be cool. Maybe add another one of the stories that the priest tells.
Yeah.
Maybe visualize another one of those.
You know what I tried to do and gave up on like halfway through? I tried to like see if this movie really did have 100 monsters or if it was just like false advertising. But I lost count.
It was a lot.
I don't think it was 100 though.
It wasn't 100, but it was a lot.
Unless we count like all the soldiers, all the faceless soldiers as individual monsters, I don't think it was even close to 100.
But Dave, we were the monsters all along.
Oh, no.
Us humans, we're the virus. There's definitely 100 of us.
There's at least 100 humans in the world.
Yep. Yeah.
Damn, I guess you got me there. That's the one. That's 100 monsters.
That is 100.
What if there were exactly 100 human cast members in this movie, and that's what it was? Could you imagine?
What?
Could you imagine?
I think there might be. I put money on it.
Exactly 100 though.
Maybe not exactly 100.
Yeah,
no.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I've really got to say on it. Like, I kind of want people to go watch this movie.
Yeah.
And I am definitely going to be checking out the other two movies.
For sure.
Series, because I might actually buy that box set if it's still available.
I will look it up for you right now to see Yokai Monsters. If I could spell monsters correctly. Let me see if it's still available. It might still be available because it's not really. Well, it's out of stock on Diabolic's website, which is where I usually order these things from.
Mm-hmm.
But it is still available on Amazon.
Okay.
For $10 more than it was on Diabolic.
Maybe I'll just keep streaming for now.
All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. Anything else you wanted to bring up?
Not really. I mean, I've kind of given my thoughts on the film. Maybe we'll do Spook Warfare next year.
I would be down. I think maybe next year we should do October month where we explore more
spooky things,
more horror kaiju media.
Yeah, I'd be down.
I think that it's kind of one of those. I think when you talk about kaiju, people don't associate it with horror, but I think that a lot of it dips into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Horror. It's actually funny because I remember when we were first brainstorming this, before I brought up Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, you brought up the original Godzilla.
I brought up the original Godzilla because that is like a straight horror movie.
I think we should wait to do the original Godzilla.
I think you're right.
For like something like a. Maybe not this year, because I think it's only the 67th anniversary. That's kind of a weird thing to do for the 67th anniversary. I mean, God knows if we're still going to be doing this podcast in 3 years' time when Godzilla turns 70. But if we are, we'll definitely do it for
Maybe we'll make it to the big time by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Talking Toku season 36?
36. Whoa, calm down. That's like at least like 10 years away.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I thought I just thought it was interesting to think about that a lot of kaiju media is horror.
It's not horror, but it's horror tinged. It's got the spirit, you know.
Yeah, actually, a term I like to use is horror adjacent.
Yeah.
A lot of movies in the kaiju genre, they use a lot of not like horror tropes, but they use a lot of like the same devices, I guess. Actually, a great example of a horror kaiju movie is actually the first Cloverfield movie. That movie is scary. It is,
yeah. I actually have not watched that in a while.
I watched it a couple years ago, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, not only do I not hate this movie that is a format that I inherently don't like in general, but it's actually pretty spooky. It's pretty scary. And it's not just because of the small parasite things, even though they are pretty scary. Clover itself is a pretty creepy design and has a presence in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's that's another horror recommend right there if y'all wanted one. But yeah, so that's 100 monsters.
Yeah, that wraps it on 100 monsters.
Go watch it again. I mentioned earlier it's on Arrow streaming. You can get the box set too on Amazon at the moment. I think we both recommend it, especially us being fans of Evil Dead. I think it's pretty close to the experience you get in an Evil Dead movie.
It's much more kid friendly than Evil Dead, but
yeah, not
it has
blood
the same.
soaked.
Yeah, it has the same like horror comedy kind of thing that Evil Dead too, and more so Army of Darkness has.
I do think you could describe 100 Monsters as a campy movie.
Yes, absolutely.
I do think it fits that bill, which
a
lot of people love Evil Dead because it's campy.
Yeah, and full disclosure, we are saying that with nothing but love in our hearts for campy movies. That is not a bad thing in our mind.
Oh yeah, throwback to a couple years ago when you and I did the Evil Dead back to back to back. We watched all three of them. On
because they were showing all three movies, and then they were gonna have they were having a special sneak peek before Ash vs. Evil Dead officially premiered. They were showing the first episode like a week early.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was great.
Yeah,
good time.
That's when I found out that the original movie was technically rated NC-17 and not R.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anyways, shall we move on to our next segment, the Wink Take Horn? What new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now?
Yeah.
All right. You want to go, or should I go first?
You go first, because I don't actually have anything.
Oh my God, Brian. Disappointing.
I can give an explanation, but yeah.
All right. Well, at least
it'll be a life update.
I have one actual kaiju thing and one kaiju adjacent thing, so I'll make it up for both of us. The cool new kaiju thing I've been checking out recently is Oxygen Destroyer's second album, brand new, released a little more than a month ago now, almost 2 months. Sinister monstrosities spawned by the unfathomable ignorance of humankind. Yes, that's a mouthful of a title, and that's their whole shtick. They like to make kaiju stuff sound way more metal than it already is, because they're a death metal band and all their songs are about kaiju. This is their second album. It was released on Redefining Darkness Records. I think the first album was self-released. And then they got signed to Redefining Darkness. And I gotta say, this is such an improvement on that first album. Not that I didn't like the first album, I did, but like Jordan Farrow's vocals on that first album were really, and if he ever hears this, I'm friends with Jordan. If he ever hears this, Jordan, I'm really sorry, but I really didn't like his vocals on the first album. I thought they were like the most generic death metal vocals you could ever get anywhere. And I'm like, wow, the riffs are good, the lyrics are good, the songwriting overall is really good, but the vocals fucking suck on this.
I remember listening to the first album.
Yeah.
I remember you sent it to me and I listened to it and I was like, oh, this isn't really for me. I like the music, I just don't like the vocals.
Yeah, but thankfully he's definitely come into his own on this second record, and I'm so happy because he sounds way better. He almost sounds like a different singer is how much better he sounds, but it is still him on vocals, thankfully.
Well, that's what production improvements will do to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's not album of the year or anything. I've heard some real good music this year, and this as much as I like this ain't no album of the year. But stuff like Slaughtering the Guardian Monsters, Enduring the Maternal Rage of the Amphibious Monstrosity, and Brian, they have a song about your favorite movie on here.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
What is it?
You'll know. I'll read off the title, and you'll know exactly what movie it is. Because here, I'm gonna bring up one of their other songs, and you tell me what you think this song's about. Vanquished by the unrelenting devastation of the celestial behemoth.
Okay.
What do you think that movie is? Or rather, what monster?
Ghidorah?
No. I think it's Space Godzilla.
Space Godzilla?
Yeah,
celestial behemoth.
Yeah, and it says constructing a crystallized fortress so that's Space Godzilla. Yeah. But this one, you had to think about that one, right?
Yeah.
This one you'll get immediately. The song's called "As Big as a Battleship."
Oh man. I'm lost.
You don't
Wait,
know?
what?
Brian, it's the
Big as a
giant
battleship?
claw. Your
Oh
favorite
my
movie.
god!
How could you forget? They say that
Oh
like
my
they say that
god!
like 10 times in the movie.
Holy
Brian,
shit!
I'm very
I had a
disappointed in
brain
you.
fart
I'm
there.
very disappointed in
Okay,
you.
but I have plenty of excuses as to why. Uh-huh.
But
I mean, that's my middle name with this show is it's excuses.
it's true. But
Hey, Brian, did you watch that thing? Oh no, I was busy.
yeah. But no, New Oxygen Destroyer record absolutely slaps. I'm very happy with how it turned out.
I'm
Even
going
even
to
though
listen to it.
I waited like 2 months to listen to it because I told myself I was gonna wait for my vinyl copy to come in, and then because of supply chain issues, the vinyl got delayed. So I only got it in like
Ooh.
because the album came out on August 27th, and I only got the vinyl record like 2 weeks ago. So,
Damn.
but you know what? It was worth it because the album's great. So go listen to that.
Yeah.
Now, should I go into my kaiju adjacent thing?
Sure.
All right. Another sort of kaiju thing, sort of not really, that I've been checking out is 100% movie of the year, Dune. Holy fucking shit.
Oh, here
Dune,
we go.
Dune absolutely rocks. I read the book last year because initially the movie was still supposed to come out last year, and then COVID happened and it got delayed. But I still read the book last year, and so I know I was prepared for the movie, and it absolutely met standards and then some. It is. I've been a big fan of Denis Villeneuve ever since you and I saw Sicario in theaters on a total whim. You know, I don't know about you, but I had no idea what the hell Sicario was when we were going in, and then I ended up loving it.
I think we saw it because it was an early showing,
I don't remember.
and we were just looking for something to do.
I remembered just hearing good things about it, and I think you showed me the trailer. And I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Yeah, I'll see it.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was interested because I had seen the trailer in front of something else, and I think my dad said like, "Oh, that looks so cool. We should go see it." And then I remember like a couple days later, I said to you, "Hey, you want to go see Sicario?"
Yeah, and I had no idea what it was.
And I did. I did not go with my dad until.
Did you?
Actually,
Wow.
we never. Him and I never saw it. I lended the movie to him after
Oh,
I had
really?
bought it.
Wow.
Yeah. No. For anyone who knows how flaky I am, let me tell you, my dad's flakier. So.
But yeah, I've been a fan of Denis Villeneuve ever since Sicario. I adored Arrival. Blade Runner 2049 is fucking phenomenal. And
Arrival is so good.
Arrival's so good. Oh my god. And then now
if
Dune.
you want a movie that's gonna make you cry,
Yeah.
Arrival.
Yeah. It's the same with Blade Runner too. But Dune, I mean, I knew even before I knew anything about Dune, like I knew Denny was like the man for the job because like he has talked about multiple times that Dune is like a dream project of his. So the fact that he was able to do it and the fact that it turned out as goddamn fantastic as it was, like hats off to him. And as of this recording, just today, a couple hours ago, they legendary Warner Brothers greenlit Part 2. So thank fucking God, because it was kind of in limbo because we weren't really sure if a Part 2 was happening. Warner Brothers was like, oh, as long as it does well on HBO Max, we'll do a Part 2. But then it like did really, really well at the box office anyways. So yeah, they just earlier today, they greenlit Part 2. And Denny said earlier today, I just received news from Legendary that we are officially moving forward with Dune Part 2. It was a dream of mine to adapt Frank Herbert's Dune, and I have the fans, the cast, and crew, Legendary and Warner Brothers, to thank for supporting this dream. This is only the beginning. And I would have considered it one of cinema's greatest tragedies if we did not get a second part to this film, because that's just how great it is. The cast is all really good. Music is some of Hans Zimmer's finest, I think. And yeah,
Hans Zimmer is an incredible composer.
I know. I saw a lot of people saying this was him reclaiming his glory after doing Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, didn't he also do Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I have no idea. That was back in like 2012 or whatever.
I think he partnered with Pharrell,
I have
which
no
is like
idea.
one of the funniest things
I literally could not tell you if that's the case. I have not watched that movie since you and I saw it in theaters.
Neither have I, but I need to. Oh, yikes, dude. Oh, God.
What?
Pharrell Williams, Junkie XL, and Hans Zimmer.
All
Oh,
in one movie?
poor,
That sounds awful.
you poor bastards.
Wow,
Oh, God.
that's something, all right.
Oh, poor Junkie XL.
Okay
That poor
then.
man.
But yeah, go watch Dune, HBO Max. It's one of the best science fiction films ever, I think. I'll say it.
Mm. Yeah, honestly, you know what? That's probably what I'm going to be checking out.
Good.
'Cause I've heard a lot of good things about it from all over the internet.
And mostly
so
from
I'm-
me, probably.
I actually I've heard a fair bit about it on Bruce Green talked about it
Okay.
on his Twitch stream.
All right, fair enough.
But also a couple of my coworkers actually also were talking big about it.
All right,
so.
good. I will say, if possible, for anyone who's listening, absolutely go see that shit in IMAX. I was not able to because the IMAX theater near here is still closed due to COVID, so I feel like I missed out, but it is absolutely a movie that demands to be seen in IMAX. I cannot imagine... I can't imagine seeing it in not IMAX because I did see it in not IMAX, but I don't think it would be able to compare seeing it in IMAX versus not. So it's big.
Oh,
it's loud.
I do indeed have an IMAX theater near me,
Go for it, Brian. Go for it.
and it's open.
There you go.
Wow, I'm looking at the busy times thing on Google, and it says right now it's as busy as it gets.
Yeah, that sounds about. I mean, it's 9:00 at night. That's a movie time.
It's 6 p.m.
All right,
or almost 6.
Yeah, right. You're 3 hours behind me. Forgot about that. Oh well.
Yeah.
Point is, Dune, good. Go see it. That's my. It's not really kaiju thing, but it's kaiju because there's the big sandworms, even though they don't. Really
Yeah, they've
have
got
much of
big
a-
worms.
Yeah.
They make the spice. Anyways, I guess I don't really have much that I have been able to check out or I am checking out. For anyone who's curious, I had moved and I had just moved again over the weekend, and all of my stuff is currently either in transit here or with me in boxes.
Yeah, Brian initially moved to get away from me, and he moved again because he realized I was getting too close to finding him.
Yeah, no, I realized that I was just not quite far enough
You
away
weren't far
for
away
me
enough.
for me to be happy.
Okay.
So I found about as close as I could get with a reasonable price to the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah. So I will be once I get my stuff and I have a bit of a setup going, I will be diving back into checking out new media.
Cough.
But-
Ultraman. Cough.
Ultraman definitely on the list. I am still waiting on my Gamera. Actually, wait, no, I do have my Gamera sets here.
Oh, you can
I don't
start
know.
watching those.
It's all in boxes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
fair
I
enough.
will.
We'll
yeah,
get it sometime. Don't worry.
Someday soon. But anyways, yeah, that's been this episode.
Yeah. I think. that's it
Happy
for the-
Halloween.
Yeah. Happy Halloween, people.
Please let your kids enjoy Halloween.
Yeah.
Please.
I don't think anyone
It
who's
is-
listening to this is gonna. It's not gonna matter to any of those people.
Probably
but
not.
Still.
But Halloween is one of the only moments of levity that people get in the year. Just let them have fun, especially kids,
Hmm.
like teenagers, whatever. Let them have fun.
Let them watch One Other Monsters.
Yeah. Just, have a good Halloween. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
Wear a mask or be vaccinated or both.
Wear two masks. Wear
yeah.
the one surgical mask and one Halloween mask.
Yeah. Also, don't be a fucking buzzkill. Hand out full-size candy bars. Please.
Not
Yeah.
not me and my mom getting a bunch of bags of candy for this year, like yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't bought anything, and I just realized I live in a house on a cul-de-sac,
Oh, you're gonna get
so
lots of people.
I should probably do that. But
What's your Halloween costume gonna be, Ryan?
Me, because I'm scary. No,
I'm gonna add a drum kick in there.
yeah. No, I don't have a Halloween costume. I haven't really been able to invest any funds in
See,
that.
I'm being lazy with my costume this year because I don't know if you saw. I posted on Instagram a couple months ago that I went to a sort of, kind of, not really job interview. So I dressed up, and as I was walking downstairs, I saw myself in the mirror. I'm like, holy shit, I look like Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. So I grabbed one of my dad's hats, and I'm like, oh my god, I look like fucking Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. So I'm just doing that. All I bought was a pair of aviator sunglasses and a red handkerchief, and now I'm all set.
All right, I can get behind it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No Halloween costume for me this year. But I
You
do
should
want
also
to
be Alan Grant.
I do want to potentially get into to something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Do it.
If I ever do any kind of a costume for anything, it's going to be Destiny related because I've already committed my life to that stupid game. I looked at how many hours I have in that game, dude.
I know. You tell me this all the time.
In the second one, it's coming up to 2.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro. All right. I think that'll do it for today.
Yeah.
I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your other host, Brian Kershaw.
We'll see you guys next time. In the meantime, have a safe and happy Halloween. Watch some spooky monster movies, or just spooky movies in general. It doesn't have to be monsters. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
live
go
your
watch
life.
the new Halloween and hate yourself.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I heard it's real bad.
Yeah.
Or you could watch a good movie.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
Well, goodbye, everyone. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.